6 p.m. in Tokombere in the far north region of Cameroon, and same time right here in the economic capital city of Douala. Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Who killed Amplitude FM radio journalist Martinez Zogo? This question is yet to be answered as the trial of the accused is expected to begin after the end of the judicial inquiry. Prime suspects have been charged with capital murder, conspiracy and torture. Can the end of the inquiry phase assure Cameroonians that justice will be served? Answers in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. And President Paul Biya, unexpected visit to a high hospital in Yaoundé, has sparked widespread discussions on social media platforms, with many speculating about the true intentions behind the visit. You'll be getting the reactions of some political actors with regards to this affair in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. Stay with us for details and more. Thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. You definitely made the right choice. The trial of the accused in the Martinez Zogo affair is expected to begin soon. The end of the inquiry phase paves the way to a new perspective in the quest for justice for the killed journalist and his family. Babila Jonathan has latest updates. He takes us back to the genesis of the case in his report.
The charges have now been clearly stated by the Yaoundé military court. The accused in the Martinez Zogo capital murder affair will be prosecuted on different charges. Amugu Belinga will be tried for complicity in torture, same for former intelligence chief Maxime Eko, while Bruno Bijang is accused of conspiracy in torture, arrest and sequestration. Colonel Justin Danwe and 5 other co-accused are going down for complicity in capital murder, torture, arrest, sequestration and violation of instructions. Yaoundé-based Amplitude FM station manager journalist was investigating and exposing corruption and embezzlement of public funds by state officials. He disappeared from public view January 17, 2023, 5 days after his corpse was discovered on the outskirts of Yaoundé. Following national and international outrage, President Paul Biya later created a mixed gendarmerie police commission to investigate the capital murder. On February 6, 2023, Amugu Belinga was arrested alongside several other suspects. After several days at the State Secretariat for Defense said he was put under pre-trial detention at the Kondinge Principal Prison, March 3, 2023. Amugu Belinga, former intelligence chief Maxime Eko, Colonel Justin Danwe, and other co-accused in the Martinez Zogo capital murder affair have been in detention for over 9 months. From the State Secretariat for Defense, the case was transferred to the Yaoundé Military Court. Military Judge Magistrate Sekati Kamwo Florent Aimé then took over inquiries as examining magistrate. For several months, he had been questioning the accused until early December, when an ordinance bearing his signature went out, suggesting that Amugu Belinga and Maxime Eko had been set free, and another was issued later, disclaiming the first. This was followed by a presidential decree appointing Lieutenant Colonel Pierrot Narcisse Z as examining magistrate and vice president of the Yaoundé Military Court. On the heels of the appointment, Magistrate Sikati Kamwo Florent Aimé was officially taken off the Martinez Zogo case.
And away from the Martinez murder case, President Paul Biya's unexpected visit to an eye hospital in Yaoundé has sparked widespread discussions on social media platforms, with many speculations about the true intentions behind the visit, while others see it as a move to pass a message ahead of the 2025 presidential elections. CPD and party officials say President Paul Biya carried out many of such unannounced visits lately in other sectors in Cameroon. Femi Armstrong Sanda has the details.
On the political scene in Cameroon, President Paul Biya's weekend surprise visit to the Obak Eye Hospital in the Leke Division is being interpreted differently.
President Paul Biya, the father of the nation, has always been doing impromptu visits. He's a politician of the field and know what happened all over the national territory. I know that most Cameroonians are surprised with the visit he did at the eye hospital because a Cameroonian happened to take 1 or 2 pictures that were published and people were surprised to see him there. But no, he has always been doing that. He has been visiting the extreme north to look at the situation of Cameroonian there. Even with the presence of this crisis, he has visited the northwest many times, but those visits are walking visits.
A view sharply contrasting to that of the PAP national president, Jang Dennis. President Jang Dennis says President Paul Biya went to check his eyes.
I believe he went there for his normal medical routine checkup. It is for his age. It's normal. Maybe this time around he has decided not to go out of the country for his normal medical routine.
He goes further to highlight the political angle widely circulated on social media in Cameroon.
Well, for those our CPDM people, they could also use some of those images as a form to send a signal also that President Paul Biya is fit and still ready for 2025 at the age of 91 going to 92. So it's not strange. Whether it's for a medical routine or it's for a political propaganda, I don't think a man of 91 years who has failed in his entire 40 years career should still be thinking towards that direction.
Robert Keja says President Paul Biya didn't need the outing to prove a point ahead of 2025 because to him, Paul Biya is the best choice for Cameroon.
He has his mandate and he's executing his mandate very well, and all of us, we are satisfied with the good work he is doing, and we will also support him come 2025.
While the exact motive behind the visit remains uncertain, it appears to signal a proactive approach towards engaging with healthcare issues in the country.
We now take you to Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region, where a geotechnician has revealed that lack of proper geotechnical studies have greatly contributed to the fast degradation of roads. He proposes that adequate studies will go a long way to ensure the selection of the right materials used for the construction of roads in this part of the Northwest region. Bostella Northwest correspondent compiled this report for the 6 p.m. news.
Good roads are often seen as a vital component of development, attracting businesses and improving connectivity. However, in the Northwest region, roads have become a source of misery due to their fast degradation. Experts highlight several factors contributing to the rapid degradation of the few roads that exist.
Generally, roads start undergoing degradation immediately it is put into service. Hence, they need to take necessary measures to curb this degradation and increase the lifespan of the road. In Cameroon, insufficient geotechnical investigation have led to several problems such as inappropriate designs, delays in construction schedules, costly construction modification, and the use of substandard borrowed materials, just to name a few.
During his defense of a master's degree on the topic Geotechnical Investigation of the Bamenda-Bambili Road in view of rehabilitation and widening, Kwala Maxer proposed vital studies to ease the heavy traffic often experienced on that stretch.
Based on my work, I proposed solution on the flash flood at Maifo Bridge. I went further to propose solution of traffic whereby flyovers for pedestrians would be constructed at Amomezam Junction. We have Maifo Junction and Bambili Junction. By so doing, I believe most of the students will not be, as well as lecturers will not be late when they are going for their studies.
In his study, the geotechnician also proposed an interdisciplinary collaboration between geotechnicians, surveyors and engineers in achieving more resilient roads and buildings, thereby increasing the quality of life for the resident.
And over to our health page. Cameroon joins the international community today, the 4th of March, to observe World Obesity Day. According to health experts in Cameroon, the percentage of adult men, like women, suffering from overweight is greater than that of children. Our reporter, A.C. Lucy Liengu, spoke to Dr. Glory Befeke, a health expert, on the reasons and what should be done to curb the disease. Let's watch.
In Cameroon, health experts revealed that 19.2% of adult women and about 7.5% of adult men are living with obesity. The medical condition occurs when a person's body index is above 30. A general practitioner, Dr. Glory Befeke, says it is caused by several factors.
Obesity can be caused by lack of physical activity, also unhealthy eating behaviors. Some of such may include the consumption of fast foods, processed fast foods, also the consumption of alcohol. Equally, genetics can be a cause of obesity. Stress can also be a cause. Lack of a good sleep pattern can also be a cause of obesity.
Adults are most prone to the disease.
Obesity is more common in older people, especially from 60 and above, because when one gets older, especially if one is ill and not really physically active, one tends to lose one's muscle mass.
Also, heart disease related to obesity.
An excessive or abnormal accumulation of fat in the body, which can lead to the risk of other health problems like high blood pressure, like diabetes, or like atherosclerosis.
Watching one's daily habits can help reduce overweight.
One's eating habits and equally increasing physical activity will play a vital role in preventing obesity.
As Cameroon joins the international community to observe the World Obesity Day celebrated each year on the 4th of March, medics advise patients with symptoms to visit the hospital early.
And now we take you out of Cameroon. Let's now move to Burkina Faso, where about 170 people have been killed, many wounded, and material damage recorded in a recent terrorist attack in the northern part of the country. And in Nigeria, popular Nollywood actor John Okafor, popularly known as Mr. Ibu, dies at the age of 62. Meantime, the French Senate are set to make an abortion constitutional right in France. A roundup of these stories with our reporter, Mala Glory.
More than 70 people have been killed in an attack in northern Burkina Faso as violence persists in the country. Ali Benjamin Coulibaly, the state prosecutor, said attackers targeted 4 villages in Yetenga. Many others have been wounded and several material damages recorded. The violence has killed almost 20,000 people and displaced more than 2 million in one of the world's poorest countries in a region wrecked by instability. Authorities have launched investigations to this attack. And elsewhere, the Nigerian entertainment industry, the country and the international community mourns the death of popular Nollywood actor John Okafor, who is popularly known as Mr. Ibu. One of the best Nigerian comic actors who has brought laughter in many homes throughout his professional career. Report has it that at the age of 62, the actor died after he was moved to the intensive care unit at Evercare Hospital, Lekki. According to his longtime manager, Don Wuso, Mr. Okafor suffered a cardiac arrest. And last year, the actor underwent surgery to remove one of his legs after soliciting help and prayers from fans. And over to France, the country is preparing to be the first in the world to include voluntary abortion in its constitution. In this effect, the representative of the 18 political groups in parliament will be meeting in Congress this Monday in Versailles to deliberate on the topic. This will be followed by a vote which will permit its adoption. Abortion rights are widely supported in France, and limiting them was not a public debate issue. While the French has for years wanted to add a constitutional safeguard to an abortion, in 2022, most lawmakers believe such a move was unnecessary given the existing guarantees for women seeking an abortion.
And now we take you to sports. Except for last-minute changes, The under-20 Lionesses won't participate at the 13th African Games to be hosted by Ghana. The National Olympic and Sports Committee that was supposed to take care of logistics say they have financial challenges. 2 other disciplines will miss the Accra rendezvous, as Majikan Gabriel tells us in the following report.
After the failure of the senior women's and men's national football teams to beat Nigeria at the qualifiers of the Olympic Games and the African Cup of Nations respectively, the hopes was that the under-20 Lionesses might stop the dominance of Nigeria when they meet at the 13th edition of the Africa Games in Accra, Ghana. The girls of Coach Bala, who had a great UNIFAC tournament and recently qualified for the under-20 Women's FIFA World Cup in Colombia, will be out of the female football tournament at the African Games due to financial difficulties. The under-20 Lionesses were drawn to play in Group B alongside Nigeria, Senegal and Morocco. Another team that will not be present in Accra for the African Games is the women's rugby team. The arms wrestling or Bradford team that was to be present was also removed from the list. Officials of the National Olympic and Sports Committee of Cameroon have blamed the absence of these selections to financial constraints on the budget line. Notwithstanding the absence of the under-20 Lionesses, women's rugby team and the Bradford team at the 13th African Games, Cameroon will be represented in 8 different disciplines. Amongst them, judo, karate, table tennis, wrestling, volleyball men, handball women, athletics and boxing. There will be 10 athletes accompanied by 4 coaches, 2 males and 2 females, alongside 6 athletes in wrestling accompanied by 2 coaches, a male and a female. The only table tennis athlete retained for the competition is Hamfou Serra, and she will leave from France straight to Ghana. The delegation of Cameroon to Accra for the African Games will leave Cameroon either Wednesday or Friday.
And that sports element puts an end to today's first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Tonight on Talking Point, I'll be receiving Dr. Barrister Kamwan Limen, and we'll be discussing about the Martinez Zogo murder affair. Good evening, Barrister. It is a pleasure having you on the news today.
Thank you so much, Immaculate. It's always a pleasure talking to you people to edify the population. I greet your televiewers, and I think that my intervention is going to be constructive enough to make them understand the social reality of the questions you're going to ask me.
Barrister, after a very long wait, principal suspects of the Martinez Zogo murder affair have been charged with capital murder, conspiracy and torture. The phase of judicial inquiry is over. What explains this delay?
Well, as you rightly said, judicial inquiry, it's a preliminary inquiry, it's a process where the examining magistrate, with the powers conferred on him, carries out investigation. It's a kind of a small court, you see, that they carry out investigations and come up with elements that can ascertain the commission of an offense. And in this case, you see that there were so many parties involved, so many co-offenders, and so it had normally to take time for the examining magistrate and the judicial police attached to the examining magistrate to carry out these investigations and come out with sufficient proofs that the defendants may have committed the offense. I use the word may because they are still to go through a proper trial.
But then, why was the former examining magistrate unable to bring up these charges that we are having now?
Well, I will not be able to answer you that question because I was not there. I'm not a lawyer in that file, and we cannot just get up and assume that for any reason that it was not brought up. No, that would simply be a mere assumption. So I don't want us to get into that.
Now that the charges have been clearly established, what's next?
Of course, the defendants, their status changed now to accused persons. they'll be arraigned in court, and the matter will be heard in regular courts. Will be heard, of course, in the military tribunal, but in an open court. And during this phase, the lawyers will be there to examine, to re-examine, and to test the proofs and evidence that were adduced or that were brought forth by the examining magistrate. So we should say that it is at this level that the lawyers, the defense counsel, they have the latitude to test and examine those proofs. And it's at the end of such a trial that if the judge with his conscience and in view of the law feels that there exists sufficient evidence to condemn the accused persons, then they'll go ahead to sentence them.
You have been practicing as a lawyer for several years now. Are you persuaded that at the end of the trial, justice will be served to Martinez Zogo and his family?
Of course, if I do not believe in justice, I will not be a lawyer. Because being a lawyer means that we all are actors in the judiciary, and we work in that ministry to see that justice actually is dished out. For sure, so many people do not think that Amugu Belinga and the others, Eko, mindful of their social status, would have been in prison up to now. So if they are still maintained in custody and are being transferred now, the matter sent to court, it means therefore that there is justice. And what we want is real justice, not justice where you condemn people who did not commit an offense, and not justice where you leave people who committed an offense. So let us just wait for the court and see that true justice. The lawyers are there. They are good, I know them, and they're going to test all those proofs and exhibits and to see and to render justice, because the lawyer plays a very important role when it comes to the dispensation and administration of justice.
Barrister Kamwa Limen, two prominent judges of the military tribunal were removed by the head of state, Colonel Sipa Didier Dangmo, the Director of Military Justice, and Lieutenant Colonel Sikati Kamwo Florent Aimé, the investigative judge at the Yaoundé Military Court. The decision comes after rumors had it that they received bribe from the prime suspect, but then it's not yet confirmed. According to you, as a lawyer, what can trigger the head of state to take such a decision, especially with a critical case when we are talking about murder and we are talking about the murder of a journalist?
Well, you said that there's suspicion, right? And meaning therefore that it is still an assumption. As I said, I don't want to work on assumptions. But the simple fact that they were replaced could be an eye-opener to the effect that maybe something was done which is not proper, or maybe they felt that something might be done if they don't rescue the situation. But for now, I still say that it is still an assumption, and I don't want to belabor on assumptions. Who knows? Maybe they were doing the right thing. It could equally be that. It could equally be that they were doing the right things, and that right thing was not in favor of the hierarchy, and so they could be changed. So there are so many reasons why a magistrate can be changed. And one thing we should know in this country is that magistrates are not free. They don't have free hands in matters that they either investigate or they try. So anything can happen when magistrates are concerned.
And now, don't you think this case is taking longer than a normal judicial process?
No. If you go by the law, the examining magistrate had 6 months times 3. That has about 18 months. And I think that they have worked within the time frame. And don't forget that there were so many suspects, and they would later turn to defendants in this matter. Same as in the court, it's not going to be an easy ride, because all those parties must present their defense in court. So I don't think that there was an abuse in time. No, I don't think so.
What's your overall thoughts of what Cameroonians are expecting as far as the Martinez Zogo murder affair is concerned?
I think what we all should expect is justice. And my definition of justice might not be the definition of justice on social media. That's the first thing. Because in social media, they might have already judged and sentenced people You understand? Why the role of judging people and sentencing is that of the court. So true justice will mean that the lawyers, they do the work, that the judge, the state council does his work well, and that the judge or the presidents, the judges involved in the matter equally render true justice. I think that will be justice. We should be careful that we don't look at justice being that they must be sentenced, they must be condemned. No. Condemn people who should be condemned and free people who should be free. That is justice. And then we should know that if we support injustice being done on an individual, we might just replace them tomorrow, and then we'll see injustice being done to us. So true justice will mean that those who are supposed to be sentenced, be sentenced.
But yeah, we are talking about capital murder, torture, and complicity. What type of sentences should we be expecting then?
Yes, most of them is life imprisonment, and as I said, still, those are just. It doesn't mean that when the law says that you must give this, the judge is bound to give it. It is the law gives the judge equally to appreciate and work on to plead some special aliquotus on behalf of clients. You understand? If the judge feels that this offense, this person needs some special consideration, they will give them. So I don't want us to just specify on the law, but I'm saying that we should allow the courts to do their job, and that true justice should be rendered, and those who are found guilty should be sentenced. I think that is the essence of justice to me.
The president of the Cameroon People's Party and also a member of Stand Up for Cameroon, Edith Kabanwala, once said Cameroonians are not safe. She was speaking in relation to the case pitting the alleged serial rapist Evin Bobda. If someone like the intelligence chief of a country can be involved in such a crime, are we really safe in this nation?
Well, for now, I want to say that up to now, they have not been proven guilty yet. So Cameroonians should know that they are still, now the accused persons, but the presumption of innocence runs across the entire procedure until such a time that the court will formally declare them guilty. So I don't want to precipitate that kind of interpretation of the law. I want to see that he is pronounced guilty, and thereafter we could say that if somebody like him, who had the security of the state in his hands, could go this mean, to go this low, then we can rightly say that the country is not, we are not secure in this country. So as a prudent lawyer, different from politicians or journalists, I think that we have to wait until such a time where the court, after a full trial, declares those persons guilty before we can now come in with those statements. So for now, I think it's premature to make those statements.
Dr. Barrister Kamwan Liman, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And that's where we'll put an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in the company of more interesting programs on ETV. Have a wonderful evening.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
Ce lundi sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Bonsoir à tous, Dynamo de Douala